gotta start.
Hello, folks.
Hello.
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 Well, I didn't think I was going to make it. My flight was back late I came back from DC this morning. I'm like, come on, man, go.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a day.
Yeah, there's nothing like starting your day at the Pentagon at 8 a.m. and then, you're in Seattle before you know it. And you're on a Civil Service Commission meeting after that. So it's perfect.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Your
it.
dedication.
Hey, unless I'm in a tube and I can't communicate, there's no way I'll be here. All right. I guess we are ready to call the meeting to order. I'll start with a roll call. Brian McManus, Civil Service Commissioner, present.
Joshua Wilson, Civil Service Commissioner, present.
Ray Mitchell, Civil Service Commissioner, present.
Julie Good, Civil Service Examiner Secretary.
And Jeff Young, Deputy Police Chief.
Excellent. So first order we have of business is to approve minutes from the June 8th meeting. I reviewed them. I didn't see any corrections. Josh, Ray.
I don't have any changes.
Okay.
Well, we had one minor change. It showed me as present and I was actually absent. So that Julie assured me that's been corrected. So.
I was going to try and get you extra pay, Ray. We're just going to let it go.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
I think Jeff punched you in. I'm pretty sure I saw him come about the time.
Yeah, clocked me in.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? The change?
I'll make a motion to approve the change to the minutes.
I second that motion.
Excellent. Motion passes.
Okay.
All right. We are on to new business. Jeff, you're up. Staffing and recruiting update.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, everyone. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. So right now, if we were just kind of discussing this right before the meeting started of how many vacancies we have, I'm thinking we have 6. Julie's thinking we have 5. So we're somewhere in there. And one of the things about that is we are anticipating a retirement announcement very soon. We have one of our officers that has a considerable amount of time on. So I think he's going to retire probably September 1st is what we're thinking, or somewhere around there. So we're hoping to get some people hired to fill those vacancies. So the good news is we do have one lateral candidate that is currently in background. It is a gap background because, of course, the officer's coming from another agency. So we really only have to investigate that period of time between when they started with that agency and now. So hopefully we'll get that done pretty quickly. We have one advanced candidate that has completed all of his steps, and we're just waiting for his final report to come back so that we can make a hiring decision on him. And hopefully we'll get that back tomorrow, Julie, we hope.
Hoping today, if not today, Monday.
Okay. And then we have another advanced candidate that is also currently in background. That's also a gap background. So we only have to go from the time that person left their former agency to today. So fingers crossed on that we'll get both of those hired here real quick, along with that lateral. So that would be 3. And then we have Mr. Robert Fenton that was just hired, and he started this week. So we're going to be welcoming him at the council meeting on July 18th. I'll send you the calendar invites if you would like to attend that meeting so you can meet him in person. Then we have 3 people that are on the current entry-level list that we're going to be inviting to command interviews. We had a couple of command interviews right before Chief went on vacation. Then Commander Thomas and I did one with Sergeant Barnes, and we had one yesterday. And unfortunately, those candidates were not successful in the interview process. So again, 3 on the current list that we're going to be inviting. And, we hope that we're going to have some success there too. So one of the other cool things that has occurred is that we just participated in a meeting. Was it yesterday, Julie, or the day before?
Yes.
For
Your choice.
yes, one of those days. Everything's kind of a blur right now, right after
Yeah.
4th of July, because it was just crazy. But and then of course we're preparing for Aquafest. But we had a meeting with the HR director and with the
Communications and marketing.
That's it. Yes. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. And Julie, where we were talking about some different marketing materials and stuff that we can put down at PST testing. So we're hoping to generate some interest and get some other activity from that. So look out for those pretty soon. Hopefully, maybe by the next civil service meeting, we can have at least a sample for you guys to see. Julie sent a picture from this weekend or this past week's recruiting event at PST, and I think everything that we're doing is really going to pop once it hits that table. It's going to hopefully attract a lot of people to us. So we're hoping to get some activity from that, and also maybe from Aquafest. When we are out there, we can have an employee or so kind of stand there and hand out some keychains and other swag. So that's kind of where we are. Any questions, folks?
Yeah, I have a question, Chief. You mentioned the potential retiree. Now, are we able to go out and, pursue a replacement for this person, even though they haven't announced their retirement?
So that's one of the things that we're working with city administrator, and we're going to have to get council permission, because one of the things that we would ultimately like to do is backfill that position, because we know that one's coming.
Yeah.
So with our current vacancies, plus the 2 that council has promised to give us once we fill the vacancies, if we know that we have one coming up, especially if we're going to be recruiting or hiring from the entry level list, it's going to be really important for us to be able to backfill that, because as of right now, Kevin Lanto, one of the officers we just hired, he's going to be going to the academy in Burien in September. So remember, a few weeks ago, it was January of 2024. Well, now they're starting to get some other spots open. So he's in for September. And then Robert Fenton right now is scheduled for sometime in January of 2024 as well. So we're hoping that with the regional academy in Pasco, and then the regional academy opening up in Skagit in November, that we're going to see some other openings for those positions that we can get people trained.
Nice.
Nice. So is that a matter of the city council just appropriating emergency funding for that one additional head to backfill?
I think so. We're just going to have to work with the city administrator, finance, and council to get the full approval to do that.
Thank you.
All right. Great update, Chief. You guys are killing it.
We're trying.
You're
We're working hard for you guys.
Well,
You're
you remember,
working
I
hard
just go
for us.
back to a year ago where we were, I'm like, wow, that's a long list. A lot of backfill
Yeah.
spots. So it's going well. So
Now,
fantastic.
Chief, you mentioned the academy in Skagit County. That's the one that we will participate in?
Yeah, so typically what happens is when we have an entry level candidate, what we do is we get onto the CJTC site, and we have to give a notice of hire within 15 days. So we say, we just hired this entry level person, we need an academy date, give us one. So what they do, and this is all over the state. So we have the one in Spokane, then we of course have the one in Pasco, you have the one in Burien, and Skagit County would be the next one online. And then right after that, they're going to do another one in Southwestern Washington. We're thinking probably somewhere around Vancouverish, but I'm not sure. So once all these agencies hire their personnel, it goes into a pool, and then they start just pulling the names and filling the academy classes. So a number of different things can occur. You can have a resignation, or some other seat can occur where if they can get a candidate over to the one in Spokane, or any number of different things occur. So that's why we're seeing our guys get pushed forward in terms of their academy start date. So it's just a big pool, but we will participate in both Skagit and Burien, just depending on where our candidate lives. I mean, we were kind of worried with Lanto, because he was scheduled for Pasco at one point in time. And we started calling CJTC saying, hey, we don't want our guy to have to, be in the car for 10 additional hours per week. I mean,
Right.
that's not conducive to a healthy academic environment. Plus it's added stress for him. And, think about wintertime trying to get across the pass. It's just, no thanks. So
That's a disaster.
right. So fortunately, he's back to Burien for September. So we're really proud of him and excited for him to get started.
Well,
Awesome.
we talked at one time about an academy in Snohomish County. This one in Skagit took that place.
So we were wanting to have it in Snohomish County because we're a much larger county and we have probably about 160 or so people that need to go through an academy right now.
Oh.
Provided we hire all entry levels. So we were pushing for that, but ultimately the location and timing is just going to follow the Skagit.
Thank
No,
you.
it's not too bad of a commute going north. I'd rather do that than Burien.
Right.
Absolutely.
I just took that route this
70
week.
miles an hour to Skagit.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the updates, Chief. Next up, we have legislative updates. Anything on the legislative front?
Have nothing for you at this point in time. The only thing maybe of interest would be that this past Tuesday at council, we were able to work with the Parks Department and other city departments to get an exclusion for the parks because we've been having some pretty significant issues with some of our parks. And one of the thought processes here is that if we have a person that is continually disruptive or they commit certain violations of park rules or there's a certain violation of a law that we can say, okay, you are not coming back to the park for 30, 90 days or a year, just depending on what that is. So if we have an assault weapon or, a brandishing type deal, say at North Cove, which we have had, then we could, if we knew who the person was, we could immediately exclude them from the park. And if they come back, then we just arrest them for trespassing. So that way we can prevent some of those problems. But other than that, that's the only update I have for you.
So just you cite them for like a criminal trespass if you can identify them and then they're just for a period of time you just serve. That's pretty good. I think that's a good idea. What about some, might not brandish a weapon, but what about an instigator that's constantly, that's the same kid every time we run into a person every time, right?
Oh yeah, and that is part of the intent there too, because
Okay.
if we have somebody that is constantly trying to create problems, then we want to be able to, surgically remove that problem. And that way we're equitable. There is an appeal process where they can come back and say, okay, I was having a bad day, so can I come back? And then a hearing officer can decide whether or not they should come back or keep the exclusion in force.
Yeah, I think that's great. It's so good to see these parks just jam with families that hate to see it get ruined by just a couple of bad apples. So I'm glad you guys are on it.
Well,
Yeah.
I know, Chief, in the mill, I've seen a much higher police presence out there. Sometimes 2 and 3 officers kind of patrolling that area to get some of, the troublemakers out of there.
Yeah, we are doing some proactive measures at the mill, North Cove, Lundin Park, and a couple of other ones too.
Nice. Very good. All right. Any new business we need to speak of, Julie or Ray or anybody else? Chief?
I just kind of have a heads up that the September 14th meeting I won't be available for. I'll be at a conference. So if we'd like to either reschedule that to the 7th or 21st or forego a meeting for that month, it's up to you. I just wanted to.
I think we can work around your schedule, Julie. I'm pretty wide open. Either one works for me. So
As long as it's not going to inhibit the hiring process.
Yeah, it won't.
Yeah.
So we can talk about it next month, but just kind of
Okay.
like heads up.
okay. Oh, so Chief, any gaps for Aquafest? Anything we need to worry about or get on? Do I need to suit up? I guess is what I'm saying. No, kidding.
You know what? If you want to, that would be great. We could certainly use you. We're still in the final planning stages, but I think we're going to be pretty good. We've got assistance from Marysville for Saturday at least. The parade is going to be slightly different, a little bit shorter of a route this time. But hopefully it's going to turn out okay.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
I
And
think it
Ray, I just talked to Julie. She should be getting a hold of you for volunteer opportunities.
Who's he talking
I don't know.
Talking to you, Ray.
to? Me?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, Julie Hubert is going to be reaching
Oh,
out to you.
wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that.
See what happens when you miss a meeting, Ray? We volunteer you for everything in the
I
city.
got volunteered for something. No, but
You're the new deputy mayor too, by the way. We've
well,
got to try that.
we've had so many of the people that went to the academy that have shown interest in other volunteer work. So I'm glad to hear that Julie's getting back involved in that.
Okay.
Great.
That'd be the other Julie for the record.
Yeah.
The other Julie for the record.
Chief, have you heard anything about the new date for the Guns and Hoses softball game?
I haven't heard. I'll have to check with Sergeant Valvik because he's the one that coordinates that.
Okay. That's always.
To hire that ex-major leaguer. He's one of the guys on our list. We're trying to get him in uniform before that game starts. Loaded up.
Well, I see the chief, Jeff, the other chief, Jeff, his son, made all league in baseball.
That's great.
He's a.
Yeah, and he was just out doing a whole bunch of baseball stuff with him.
Yeah,
Amazing. We had the high school team in Little League when I was growing up. That was it. They got all these select leagues and, semi-pro at 12. I mean, it's crazy these days with the kids. They got so much opportunity. They're all going to be the next Babe Ruth. All right. If there is nothing else, can I get Julie, are we good? Or can we get a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
All right. Can I get a second on the motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
All right. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Chief. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
is the meeting over?